AEM 21-8030 DC air intake system is engineered to add horsepower and reduce restriction compared to OEM air intakes, and it comes with a lifetime limited warranty. AEM intakes utilize a reusable dry flow air filter. These oil-free filters are durable and very easy to clean. The AEM 21-8030 DC air intake fits 2009 through 2011 Chevy Silverado 1500 models with 4.8-liter, 5.3-liter, 6.0-liter, and 6.2-liter engines, and several 2009 through 2011 Chevrolet Avalanche, Chevrolet Tahoe, Chevrolet Suburban, GMC Sierra 1500, GMC Yukon, GMC Yukon Denali, GMC Yukon XL, and Cadillac Escalade models. See the AEM catalog or AEMintakes.com for complete model details. This air intake system is not legal for highway use in California or other states adopting California emission standards. Check AEMintakes.com for up-to-date information on emissions legality for specific parts on specific vehicles. AEM power testing showed an estimated power gain of 10 horsepower at 5,100 RPM, with this air intake installed on a 2010 Chevrolet Tahoe with a 5.3-liter engine. Actual results will vary depending on the condition of the vehicle, mileage, weather, and other variables. Here's a comparison of the truck sound on the dyno with the stock OEM system versus AEM's air intake. AEM air intakes come with detailed instructions with pictures and diagrams. AEM intakes are engineered for specific vehicles to produce a safe horsepower increase. Make sure the vehicle is parked on a level surface. Set the parking brake. If engine is run in the past 2 hours, let it cool down. Disconnect the negative battery terminal. Do not discard stock components after removal of the factory system. Remove the engine cover. Lift up to release the tabs from the grommets that secure it in place. Unplug the MAF sensor connector from the MAF sensor. Loosen the hose clamp on the throttle body end of the inlet tube. Loosen the hose clamp that secures the inlet tube to the air filter box. Unclip the inlet tube from the plastic bracket attached to the radiator hose. Remove the PCV line from the factory air inlet assembly. Remove the factory air inlet assembly from the vehicle. Remove the PCV line. Release the tab at the end of the line. This should allow the PCV line to slip off of the barbed end of the metal tube it is attached to. Remove the factory air filter box. Lift up to release the bottom airbox tabs from the grommets that secure it in place. Remove the 4 bolts from the bottom tray and remove from the vehicle. Retain the bolts as they will be used during the installation of the AEM intake system. Remove the bolt and nut used to fasten the radiator overflow tank. Lift and move the radiator overflow tank to make room for the new AEM airbox. When installing the intake system, do not completely tighten the hose clamps or mounting hardware until instructed to do so. Install the edge trim around the intake tube inlet of the airbox. For models with a rubber shroud, remove the 2 clips securing the rubber shroud to the radiator support. Install the AEM airbox into the engine bay, where the bottom tray of the factory airbox was previously installed. Secure the rubber shroud, if applicable, to the airbox by snapping the clips into the holes of the airbox. Secure the airbox to the vehicle by securing the 4 factory bolts removed in step 2J. Install the supplied 1/2-inch grommet into the filter minder bracket. Attach the filter minder bracket to the airbox using 2 of the supplied button head bolts. Insert the filter minder into the filter minder bracket. Attach the 5/32" hose to the filter minder's nipple and route the hose through the hole in the airbox. Remove the mass airflow sensor from the factory airbox and install it in the AEM intake tube using the supplied socket bolts. Make note of the length of the rubber mount studs. One side is much shorter than the other. thread the shorter end of the rubber mount into the intake tube. Orient the bracket onto the rubber mount and secure it with the supplied washer and nut. Install the grommet into the intake tube. Install the coupler onto the throttle body. Install 2 hose clamps onto the coupler. Replace the overflow tank in its original location and fasten it with the factory nut and bolt that were removed in step 2K. Remove the plastic clip attached to the upper radiator hose. Flip the plastic clip around and position it on the upper radiator hose. Reconnect the smaller hose to the plastic radiator clip. Drill a 1/4 inch hole in the air filter lid in the location shown. Install the 1/4 inch grommet in the hole drilled out in the previous step. Install the 90-degree elbow into the grommet. To ease the installation of the elbow, you may use a small amount of soapy water. Insert the filter adapter into the air filter, then install the large hose clamp over the filter neck. Connect the filter minder's 5/32 inch hose to the 90-degree elbow installed in the filter cap, then place the air filter in the air box. Route the intake tube under the coolant hoses and into the airbox hole. Then insert the intake tube end with the AEM logo into the coupler installed on the throttle body. Attach the intake tube bracket to the airbox using the supplied bolts and washers. Install the radiator hose clip into the threaded insert. Orient and attach the air filter to the intake tube. Secure the air filter assembly to the intake tube, ensuring that the slot of the air filter neck aligns with the notch on the intake tube. Install the 3/8 inch straight connector onto one end of the 3/8 inch hose. Also, slide the small hose clamps over each end of the hose. Attach the 3/8 inch hose to the metal tube that the factory PCV line was originally attached to. Ensure that the PCV hose slides over the barb and is secured with the 5/8 inch hose clamp. Insert the opposite end of the 3/8 inch hose into the grommet installed on the intake tube. Connect the MAF sensor harness to the mass sensor. Install the airbox lid and secure it with the supplied washers and bolts. Position the inlet pipes for the best fitment. Be sure that the pipes and any other components do not contact any part of the vehicle. Tighten the rubber mount, all bolts and hose clamps. Check for proper hood clearance. Readjust pipes if necessary and retighten them. Inspect the engine bay for any loose tools and check that all fasteners that were removed are properly tightened. Reconnect the negative battery terminals and start the engine. Let the vehicle idle for 3 minutes. Perform a final inspection before driving the vehicle. It will be necessary to check AEM air intakes periodically for realignment, clearance, and tightening of all connections. Failure to follow the above instructions or proper maintenance may void warranty. Go to AEMintakes.com to find products, download installation instructions, view dyno charts showing estimated horsepower gains, and for other product details.